Yes, exactly. That's what I mean. Everyone is having these configurations happen in their chart in a very intense way. And it's not just the transits, there's always more going on. If you look at your chart, for example, the make it or break it that we've been talking about in Capricorn, it has most likely been in an opposition with another planet of yours, in a square with a natal planet of yours, in, maybe a trine or even a sextile with a natal planet of yours. And this means that it has been connecting this theme of your life for a long time now, because this Capricorn energy has been in place for the entire year. And not to mention Pluto, who moves very slowly, who's been, whether it's in an opposition with that natal planet of yours, or a conjunction with that natal planet of yours, or whatever aspect it is, it's been going on for a long time, for at least a year. So, we all have these personal alignments that are also happening with that. And when I pull up my charts, you'll be able to understand what I mean better, because I'm having my Pluto square, which is, we have it around this age of our life. It's a cycle that we go through, but it's a very intense one. And I've been going through this Pluto square for over a year now, about a year and a half now. And, this make it or break it is part of my final Pluto square, because now finally they're all going to go direct. So this is the final make it or break it for your natal alignment as well, because this is the final conjunction, the final square, the final opposition before these planets move on. Generally speaking, okay, if your natal planet is a little bit ahead, let's say if it's like 28, 29, of a sign, that whatever sign you're looking at, Pluto is still going to, Pluto's right now still at 22. We still have a little ways to get there. So we have to take into consideration the exact degrees. But my point is that if you've been going through this conjunction, opposition, square, it's been going on for a while for you. And if it has been going on for a while, this is the culminating and then the moving into another script. Now, I'm going to spend a little time talking about the Black Moon Lilith energy here with you. Not too in depth, because this is going to be a video that is going to be for other students for future reference as well. Some may be watching this when this is well over. So we do want to keep the conversation of the transits in a way that will be beneficial in the future. So the Black Moon Lilith energy will be discussed today because it's prominent. And it's always important. It's always important in any natal chart, something people are always curious about, and you can carry this for any other chart reading as well. Other thing is that Black Moon Lilith is about to change signs, everyone. Oh my God, that's huge. Black Moon Lilith stays in a sign for almost a year, okay? 9 months. So she entered Aries in February, and that was a big deal. I remember making so many videos about it back in February. And that's really when everything began. It was right at the end of Valentine's, and just everything started to speed up from then on. And when I saw Black Moon Lilith entering Aries, I knew the script was going to be rather aggressive. Black Moon Lilith in nature is very outspoken. Here's my diplomatic Libra trying to find a neutral word to describe Black Moon Lilith. She's very expressive and outspoken and will not hold back. The thing about Black Moon Lilith is that overall, right now, collectively, Black Moon Lilith speaks of a very repressed side of our nature. It's a very important one because it's still part of our nature. It's the part that we can't deny. Like, we can't say, oh, it's all about love and light. No, it's about everything, right? It's everything. We are everything. So every nuance of everything we see in the world is showing us something, is teaching us something. And the Black Moon Lilith energy is an energy that is a very important one. I want to go more in depth about it maybe next year when we all get a little more settled into the energies, and I get into yeah, if I have more time to teach about this, I would like to teach more about the Black Moon Lilith, because at the essence, Black Moon Lilith is very esoteric. And this is what I want to bring to your attention now, because we're all dealing with Black Moon Lilith right now. And she's very outspoken in our charts. She's very aggressive in our charts. And whether you're watching this video 6 months, 6 years later, you still have a Black Moon Lilith, and she may be active right now. Black Moon Lilith is active and outspoken. She does not hold back. However, her frequency is mostly distorted because of the repressed nature that we have with this frequency. So overall, collectively, this is a frequency that is very plutonic in nature. Is that how you say it? Plutonic, like Pluto, like the planet Pluto. And it's all about death, transformation, taboo, topics that are taboo, which also includes the esoteric side of Black Moon Lilith. It includes the very sexual nature of Black Moon Lilith. This is something that I believe we're going to see become even more prominent when she enters Taurus. So this is going to happen in a few weeks from now, in October, at the very end of October. And when I pull up the charts, we can look at the exact date here. But when this happens, it's going to change the dynamic for Black Moon Lilith. And I believe we're going to include a lot more of the Taurus nature to the repressed or esoteric side of Black Moon Lilith. So globally, it's impossible to predict anything with astrology. It doesn't work like that. If the minute you start predicting something with astrology, you're not using astrology. So, the system of creation is a very intricate one. So, but what we can do is definitely look at probabilities, and what are certain probabilities within contexts. What are contexts? The cycle you're in, the year you're in, the person you're dealing with. When you take the context into consideration, it's easier to understand the nature of whatever it is you're dealing with. So before I get back to Black Moon Lilith and Taurus, let's go back to February. When Black Moon Lilith entered Aries, I know this is an overall repressed, but also ready to express itself. If any of you, I know most of you here, oops, oh my God, there's people here waiting to be admitted. Okay, 2 people. Hi, Zoe. Most of you in here have watched my Black Moon Lilith video, yes, on YouTube. I have a free YouTube video for those of you interested in getting more familiar with this energy. I actually have several videos on Black Moon Lilith now, but I have one called Black Moon Lilith, Shadow or Soul. That video was a video I made years ago. Oh, my little baby girl was a kitten. Every time I think of that video, I remember her because she's like jumping around in the background. She's so cute, Venus. And that video is a really powerful video about Black Moon Lilith. I speak in depth about her in a class. And I speak of the nature of Black Moon Lilith, especially in a natal chart. These are mainly for people that have Black Moon Lilith pronounced in their natal chart and have this energy as as just something prominent in their life to work with. Not an easy energy to work with if you have it in your natal chart in a strong way. Because it's a part of you, and you are bringing it to this planet to express it in a certain way, right? So navigating through this energy is complicated during this age and time when this frequency has been suppressed for so many cycles. And no judgment, it's been part of the cycles. It is what it is, right? But we're just understanding about this frequency today. So this frequency has a lot to do with the original expression of the feminine. And when I say original, I mean like, before the pyramids, before, ancient history and all of that. This is very much, the 26,000 year cycle shift that we have, and we're talking about a real primordial, ancient frequency of the feminine. and one that has been distorted over so many thousands of years and changed and manipulated and controlled and all of that. And so today, this frequency is still very feminine in nature. It's very sexual. It's very in its distorted way. I'll tell you, the main word I hear with this frequency is manipulation. And this is, I hear from you guys. This is the feedback I get from you guys, especially people that have it in their natal chart that were born with this and had to grow up with this frequency. So these people, they were born into families, either a mother, if it's close to the moon, or the father, if it's close to the sun, if it's on the ascendant, it's more of a path. It's just like everywhere you go, this energy is around. And it can be a very sexual energy as well. But at the end of the day, the manipulation is the strongest word that comes out from when you all share your experiences with me. So I know that there is this intuitive, can be sexual as well, okay, but there's this intuitive connection with whatever person or whatever situation you're connecting with and dealing with. And when I start refining this, you'll get a little clear on what I mean. But this intuitive connection gives the person an upper hand to have a sort of manipulation over a situation if they're not careful. Why do I say intuitive? The Black Moon Lilith is a part of the frequency of the moon. If you watch the video on the Black Moon Lilith that I have on YouTube, I explain what it is and just more details about this frequency. But it is a part of the moon, so we cannot forget what we're dealing with here. It's a frequency of the moon, the queen, the feminine, the intuition as well. And so it does also bring a level not only of intuition, which also allows you to connect with the person, situation, control, manipulate, all the other dark, repressed. There's so much, like it can go down to revenge, at worst, even death. Black Moon Lilith, at worst, even death. From some charts that I've worked with, that I've seen a Black Moon Lilith very pronounced in very specific ways with other additions in the chart. And later that year, I came to find that these people had experienced some sort of death in the family or a near-death experience themselves. So that's why when Black Moon Lilith entered Aries and right away conjuncted Chiron, I knew that there was going to be something shifting in this energy. So to finalize here the summary, this is a very feminine frequency, intuitive, which can be used to manipulate, but at its core expression, it's the essence of the feminine. I tracked Black Moon Lilith in my chart when it was active during specific key moments of my life. Actually, no, vice versa. Apologize. I tracked specific key events of my life that were extremely, hello Sharon, and I do recommend everyone to watch this from the beginning when you watch the replay, because there are some very important things that I'm covering here about Black Moon Lilith in this beginning video. So I tracked in my life all the key times of my life where I've had really powerful spiritual experiences, and I was surprised to find all the spiritual experiences that happened, and the ones that did, that had Black Moon Lilith hyperactive in my chart. Like transiting Black Moon Lilith conjunct my North Node, for example, is one of them. And these experiences, mind you, most of my spiritual experiences have been very strongly connected with the feminine. Okay, for lack of a better word, the feminine. But it's been a very, very, very ancient, if you want to call it a priestess energy frequency, but even more ancient than that. Like I don't even really identify myself with anything that I've found out there yet. So I've been letting this frequency work with me. And, in the beginning when it started, I was a teenager and just 13, 14 years old. Didn't know what was going on. But over the years, it's been progressing into my own set of experiences. And when I went to track the main experiences I've had, and the ones that have been the most, even rather sensual and sexual in nature as well, even as a young teenager, it was when Black Moon Lilith was hyperactive for me in my chart. So the reason why I'm going out of my way here and really just sharing all of this about Black Moon Lilith in astrology is to help you understand the nature of what we're dealing with here. Now, of course, again, the Black Moon Lilith frequency is a very, very powerful one, very interesting, that I am feeling called to explore even deeper and be able to help you and share more with you maybe in the year to come, 2021. But for now, I want you to know that this energy is hyperactive right now because Mars station retrograde conjunct it. Mars is still conjunct it. They're at the last little degrees of Aries, so Black Moon Lilith is wrapping up. Remember, we've already discussed the last degree of any sign is the make it or break it for that sign. Black Moon Lilith is getting there. And before she gets there, she's running along with Mars. Okay, obviously receiving all the oppositions, squares, everything else that's going on from all the other transits in Aries. So Black Moon Lilith is already outspoken. She's already expressive. If it's rage, she's going to show it. And that's why Black Moon Lilith in her power, in her feminine power, is very powerful, because she has what I like to call the righteous rage. And this is the activist frequency, as I call it. People that have a Black Moon Lilith in their natal chart, for example, on the midheaven, these are people that have that. I need to, oh my God, I've seen so many of these people. They just feel compelled to have a cause to speak about, or just have some sort of a, movement. Or it's very beautiful. Usually it has to do with human, children rights or animal rights or something like that. And it's beautiful. We all have our gifts that we're helping here with. But the Black Moon Lilith energy is outspoken. It is a very activist energy. And now conjunct Black Moon Lilith in Aries, while Mars is retrograde. Conjunct Mars while it's retrograde, preparing to leave Aries. Black Moon Lilith is totally fired up. So this is to show you astrology in action. Astrology in action. What are you going to see next? The end of the month, Black Moon Lilith is going to leave Aries, is going to enter Taurus. We'll get more into the dynamics of what that means in other videos. You can follow my other videos in the astrology lover community and the YouTube videos, because that's where I give more of the guidance and the explanations. Here we start to put things together, because I feel like I have so many videos already out there, not to mention in the mentorship program as well, with the content factor, with the definition of what things are. So here we start to put things together. And when Black Moon Lilith enters Taurus, the energy is going to change. So pay attention to that. And this is just something I want to share with you right now, because it's going to change, and it's going to change for the world. Of course, usually we wait about a lunar cycle, so about a month until the energies settle in, because many people are still going to be working with the lunar returns. For example, my next lunar return starts in 2 weeks from now. But it's getting that Black Moon Lilith at 29 Aries. So for all of November, I still have that 29 Aries Black Moon Lilith energy in my chart for all of November. And so a lot of people are going to be getting this as well. So it will be like this transition, and we usually wait about a lunar cycle before we feel the energies take place. And this is why also we can also extend this to other situations, other charts. I'll give you another example of this. Retrograde planets. If we have a planet that is stationing retrograde or direct as well. Let's use the retrograde. The Mercury retrograde is a super good example of it. We're having a Mercury retrograde coming up as well this month. Well, a lot of people are having their lunar return right before, the Mercury retrograde, before Mercury stations retrograde. So that month ahead, their relationship with the Mercury retrograde is not going to be such a Mercury retrograde one, because in their particular lunar cycle, they still have the Mercury direct. So it's interesting to take this little factor into consideration, how just because something is happening today, it doesn't mean that everyone's feeling it this month. Mercury retrograde, or it could be the vice versa. Mercury retrograde effect can last about 2 months instead of just one. The typical 3 weeks that we have, yes, it's when it's retrograde collectively. But because everyone is having their own transitions from lunar return to lunar return, some people are going to get it in this month, other people are going to get it in this month. Get it? So it is an energy that we transition slowly between those 2 months. That goes for other planets stationing retrograde, other planets stationing direct. So Black Moon Lilith entering Taurus, it's going to bring the Black Moon Lilith frequency into relationships on an individual level. All right, guys? Relationships, and this is where I'm just giving keywords here as we, in our next lunar return, when we are going to start working with Black Moon Lilith in Taurus, we're going to start to explore what planets could be involved in there from your natal chart. But on an individual level, we have relationships. We have both the opportunity for the esoteric exploration of this frequency within relationships, a very powerful, original feminine frequency as well, on a more spiritual level, to come in through this cycle. And it's 9 months of Black Moon Lilith in each sign. Another Black Moon Lilith in Taurus is, let me see, we can look at these energies when they enter signs in 2 ways. We can look at it individually, and we can look at it collectively. So this is where you need your, of course, your basic understanding of the classes and the program. That's why you have the library available to you. You can always go back and look at houses and archetypes and energies that you're working with. In order to, I just remembered something I have to announce here, in order to put these energies together. But the main thing that I want you to know is that when Black Moon Lilith energy leaves Aries and enters Taurus, this is going to shift for you. You can look at this individually with your loved ones' charts as well, close people to you, because then this is a personal example, and you're going to see this reflected on more of a evolutionary, a soul evolutionary level. So it's going to be more personal themes, and it may have to do, it depends on the house it's going to be in for you. It's going to add a lot of information where that Taurus house is in for you, the very beginning degrees. But it's also going to bring a lot of Venusian themes. So what is the Venus archetype that we have in the series? Venus, Libra, Taurus, all these themes are going to come into focus. Relationships, values, self-love, of course. There's going to be many things with the body as well. On a spiritual level, there's going to be a lot of new integrations with Gaia, with our bodies, I can go on and on about this. It's going to be very, very beautiful. The contrast is going to be great across the board, but there's going to be a lot of potential to harness this energy and start recycling it, because it's energy that is ready to be seen on a global level. And collectively, we will, we may see some things around the economy start to emerge around from November on, especially as we end the year, because remember, we have about that 2-month transition that I said, for us to really start to feel these energies and settle into these energies. And then, of course, when Black Moon Lilith in early Taurus conjuncts Uranus, that's when it's going to get interesting.